Hello everybody. Happy Wednesday. How are we doing? We are midweek, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are in the world. Cameron, thank you very much for being a member for 16 months. I want to paint my Skaven, but I have so many Blood Angels to paint first. What a hard life I live. Oh, I know how that feels. There's many things I want to paint, but there's things I have to paint first. It's the way of things, especially when you have a YouTube channel. Anyway, hello Max. Hello Madison, Jason, Stoogie, Yamail Angmar, Edward, Thomas, Gavin Kirby, Colonel, Elekman, Tattooed Zoologist, Jacka. I think I say your name wrong every single time. How are we all doing? You happy? You all good? Hello Viper the Lizard. We are, as mentioned in the title and the thumbnail, we are not playing Space Marine 2 today. We are basing some miniatures. Now, I've already done the hard bit, which is applying Stirland mud to everything. So, really, there's not a huge amount that we're actually going to be doing. But we are going to be just doing the final little colours, like on rocks, little rats and things like that. And we are also going to be doing some dry brushing, doing the rims and doing the tufts. And we will be doing them over the top of this group of miniatures right here. So because what we have is we have our Stormvermin. Here they are, looking fabulous. We've done all 10 of them. So there's a video that's coming tomorrow, maybe? Well, it depends on what you guys want. Do you want Stormvermin or do you want Globadiers first? Because we've got Stormvermin. Here they are. And we have Globadiers as well. So we have the Globadiers there. This was quite the week. Let's get to stream to 100 likes. Let's get to 50 first. Everyone's saying time for the tufts. Stormvermin. You want to see the Stormvermin first? Okay, yeah. Well, okay, we'll put the Stormvermin video out tomorrow, and we will put out the Globadiers video. There we go. Make sure I just tidy up the stream a little bit. And then we'll do the Globadiers on Friday. Honestly, you're getting a Friday, you're getting a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday video. There's loads of videos. There's videos everywhere. Josh, thanks so much for your help with the slan I was painting. I entered it in a painting comp at my local friendly gaming store and won. Jason, amazing. Incredible. Congratulations. Well done. Well done. Well done, you. Well done, you. It's not easy to win those painting competitions. It's nothing to do with me. All to do with you. You might... All the credit goes to you. Well done. Well done. Incredible. I've 10 days to paint up my Skaven army for Parade Day, and I'm wanting to do Visic. Well, if, like me, you do this for a living, Sam, you can do Visic in a day and a half. Not because you want to, but because you have to get the video ready. So just think of it that way. You got to get the video ready in a day and a half's time. Hello, Captain Manrings. Are you doing a challenge like for Daughters of Cain with painting a Slanesh or Skaven spearhead? Well, so the Skaven spearhead's already done. So I'm not going to paint it again. Because I don't want to. This is also not necessary for me. I could do it with Slanesh. But Slanesh will be... I think people want to see proper videos for Slanesh more than they want to see a 24-hour painting video. I have the spearhead to do. I just don't have the time to do it at the moment. Because this week I'm very busy. Next week I'm very busy. The week after that I'm very, very, very busy. And the week after that I'm very, very busy. So like all of my time, every day, from now until... Let me see. I went through it earlier. All of my time up until the 21st of October is basically tapped. Like I have something that I have to do every single day, at least one thing, and it's often painting miniatures, and editing videos, because we've got so many videos on the go at the moment that it's basically a case of, I don't know if you've noticed, but you're pretty much getting one every single day, just because I've got to get them all out, got to get them done. Have you painted Storm Fiends already? I haven't, no. But what I have painted is Thanquol and Bone Ripper. And you can use most of that to do the Storm Fiends. They are on my list to get... they are on my list to get and do, but I wouldn't hold your breath, because they were out of stock for ages, and I was a little bit quieter, and I was like, oh, I'll wait until they're in stock and I'll buy some. And then they came in stock, and I also got sent all the new kits. So, like, for example, I haven't been able to yet do the Doom Flayers, the Warp Grinder, and the Warp Spark weapon battery, but they are on the list of things to do. So there is a lot of stuff to do. Gavin, finished building the Skaven Tide box stuff and looking forward to painting them with the guidance of your vids. I say this while building Hormagaunts. Space Marine 2. Don't say Hormagaunts to me. We might end up firing up the game. And I know everyone's bored of watching me play it. For now. So we're going to be doing this sort of thing today. So, have you gotten the Hive Storm box? Well, the Mini Creative, if I had, I wouldn't be able to tell you. But I've been very, very busy today, is all I'll say. Right. We are basically, so because I've got 15 miniatures to base, what we'll do is we'll just look to see if there's anything I actually have to do on any of these. So that one is clear. That one has a little bit of rock, so he goes over here. This one is clear, and that one's clear. That one has a rock. That one is clear. This one is clear. You are clear. You are clear. You are also clear. You have a rock. You have a rock. You are clear. You are clear. And you have a rat. Okay, there we go. If you did, though, how would you paint the Vespids? Oh, I don't know. I don't know how I would paint the Vespids. I haven't the foggiest. Laura's just picked up a bit of a cold. Oh, that's a shame. I hope Laura gets better. Alice has also picked up a bit of a cold. In recent times. I've so far escaped it. Right. Colour we're going to be using first is Black Templar. That is a rat. We're not going to be doing it on that. We're going to be doing Black Templar on all of the rocks. So we'll just make sure that we're in focus here. And we're just going to start applying this. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I have some YouTubery demands that I have to make of you. If you could please leave a like on the stream, that would be incredibly nice of you. It is a free way to support the channel. And our first target, as always, is 50 likes on the stream. Because the more people who like the stream, the more people who find the stream. And the more people who find the stream, the more people who subscribe to the channel. And as you can see, we've gone past 69,000 subscribers. You don't belong over here, you belong over here. We've gone past 69,000 subscribers. Nice. Nice. Which is fantastic. I really appreciate every single one of you. You are the best. Our goal for the year is 75,000. So we're less than 6,000 away from that. I personally don't think it's likely that we're going to hit it. Because we've had quite the dip for the summer. Because it's not been a particularly 40k focused summer. Which happens, you know. There is a little rock under there. I knew it. I couldn't see it from all the way back here, but there is indeed a little rock. There we go. We need the 69,420 subs. We do. We also need to get to 600 models painted on the year. That feels quite likely, because we are already at 415. I painted 14 models yesterday. I was very, very, very productive yesterday. Shockingly so. 14 models in one day. And I've got another 52 to do this week. I don't think I'm going to get them all done. What happens is I generally tend to set myself like a couple of different goals, like kind of productivity goals for the week, right? So I'll be like, what we're gonna do is this week I'm gonna paint up these 50 models, but to consider the week a success, the minimum threshold is like 20, for example, or like in the event of like Vizic Scour, right? It was like, okay, well, so there's 11 videos to make here, and my schedule typically calls for 2 videos a week, right? So Thursdays and Saturdays is when we're going to do that. But so when I got the Skaven stuff through, I was like, okay, there's 11 different model kits, and also when there's that many model kits all at once, we generally tend to do things like a sprue review. So that's 11 videos plus a sprue review video, which puts us on 12 videos. So conceivably that could go on for 6 weeks. However, if we just do Skaven videos over 6 weeks, in the meantime, there's a lot of stuff that happens in this fast-moving world. So then eventually people just like, you know, when something like, I don't know, what came out, I don't know. Well, like, so like when, for example, you know, brand spanking shiny new thing comes out in 2 weeks' time, and you're still going on about how to paint Skaven Warp Grinder, people are like, nah, not watching it. So, in our usual content schedule, we stream on a Monday, we stream on a Wednesday, we do a video on a Thursday and a video on a Saturday. So that means that in a week, we can do Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for videos, which sometimes we end up doing. Whoa. I didn't even find your channel because of 40k. Your AOS stuff is what brought me in, so keep up the amazing work, man. Oh, don't you worry, Rain Man. There is so much Age of Sigmar coming. I am not bored about watching you play Warhipster. I am enjoying having the 3 best friends back in action. I mean, me too. I'm very much enjoying playing Space Marine too. I think it's an absolute triumph of a video game. It's lovely. This next colour is Rattling Grime, and we're applying this over the top of this little rat friend down here. We're just going to apply this over the top of his body. Not the tail. Twizzle it round. Professional twizzling. Who's excited for Kill Team Hivestorm? I am. I think it sounds great. Anyway. Thought Josh sounded excited. Well, I hope you get sent to Iridan the Witness so we can see the alternative build as well. Me too, Cameron. Although I doubt it. Normally they send me one and I have to pick. So, in the case of something like Iridan the Witness, it would be a case of which one do you do? Do you do Iridan the Witness, or do you do a Lord Vigilant on Morgriff? Which one are people more likely to want to see? And they're more likely to want to see Iridan the Witness, and then one of the other ones. But then the question is, which one do you paint it as? Because this is the thing, right? With Stormcast, I've been trying to think, like, based on the things that they have previewed and they've talked about and they've shown us that are coming for them, which Storm host do I put them in? You know, because I have 2,000 points of Hallowed Knights now. I actually have 2,140 points, right? And Taunus the Redeemed is on the way, so we're going to put him in, obviously. As a Hallowed Knight, but I've got a functional 2,000 point army of Hallowed Knights, which I think actually has got a bit of teeth to it as well. Now for my Hammers of Sigmar, I've got 1,960 points, something like that, for Hammers of Sigmar as well. So they're quite chock-a-block. For my Celestial Vindicators, I've got 1,000 points of that built and painted, and the other 1,000 points of it is Sacrosanct stuff, which is what I want. I want to do that at the end of the year as like a farewell to the Sacrosanct stuff. So we will do a video on it, but it will be a how to paint, but also a kind of these were cool in their time type thing, which is a shame because their time wasn't very long. So there's that. So I'm saying, I go, well, do I replace my Anvils of the Helden Hammer that I sold? Do I paint Astral Templars? Do I start a 4 Storm host? Do I just go, screw it, who cares? Let's have 4,000 points of Hallowed Knights. Do you know? Do we need more Hallowed Knights videos? I'm not sure we do, other than Taunus the Redeemed. So I don't know. I don't know. You tell me in the chat what you want. More Celestial Vindicators, Sons of the Gladius, Hammers of Sigmar forever. See, yes, I love all of them. I'm excited to get my new models, Vizic, Brood Terror, and Master Molder, plus the book, getting them on Sunday. Nice. Nice, Lenoob Pona. Excellent name. Guys, you've already crushed it. You're on 40 likes already. We're 10 away from our first target of 50. The other half of the YouTube duties that I have to perform are to tell you that not only can you like the stream for free, and that is a free way to support me, and to subscribe to the channel, that is also a free way to support me. The above and beyond thing that you can do, you can send a super chat or you can gift some memberships, or you can become a member. These are paid ways to support the channel, but they are very crucial to how the channel continues to exist and thrive. So thank you very much to everybody who already does so. You guys are legends. And thank you to all of the future members and everything like that. You're incredible people. I love you. Best community in the world. I don't have to say that bit, though. That bit's just the truth. You see. Just liked, your channel is a constant source of tutorials for my paint schemes. I did Trug and recently all of the Skaven from the new box using your videos. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. Evening all, cuddle in. This is the best community. Let's get some cuddles on the go. I'm into it. Thank you very much for being a member for 13 months. 13 months! That's auspicious for the Skaven. Given as we're basing Skaven today, Mini Painting Dad, thank you so much. You're an absolute legend. Okay, our next colour is, helpfully already on the desk, is going to be some Gilman flesh. And the reason we're using Gilman flesh, I know I'm saying it silly, is because we have the tail of this little ratty boy under there, which you can see. So we're just going to apply this over the top of that. Like that. Joe, I thought to myself the other day, surely if the 11 kits that come out and all of Skaventide, because of all of that, surely I've done most of, or if I do all of the 11 plus the Skaventide stuff, I'll have done most of the Skaven range. Surely. I wasn't even close. There's so much more. Let me tell you what I haven't done. So, the Warlock Bombardier, the Plague Pack, the Endless Spells, the Gnaw Holes, the Warp Lightning Cannon, Plague Monks, Plague Claw, Claw Lord, Storm Fiends, Doom Wheel, Night Runners, Vermin Lord, Skittershank's Claw Pack, Screaming Bell, Plague Furnace, and the Hell Pit Abomination. And I was like, oh god. I mean, I've done on the channel Thanquol, Clan Rats, Clawlord on Norbeast, Kritok, Rat Ogres, Arch Warlock, Warplock Chazales, Vizix Scour, the Brood Terror, Warlock Galvaneer, Globadiers, Stormvermin, the Master Moulder, the Death Master. I've done a load of stuff. And you've also done a load of stuff. Captain Manrix, thank you for the 1 gifted membership. And Mini Painting Dad, thank you for another 5 gifted memberships. And Edward, thank you for the £5, saying only the faithful is the answer. Paint it all silver. I mean, I do agree with you. However, what I'm trying to avoid is more traps like the Blood Angels. Because, oh, no, that's correct. There we go. 529. There we go. What I'm trying to avoid is having 40 videos on one faction. That took way more effort than normal YouTube. Yeah, YouTube's being weird with the gifted memberships at the moment. I'm happy this game got a glow up. However, I just can't accept the Great Horned Rat being a Chaos God. Well, it's a kind of stand-in Chaos God at the moment because Slaanesh be missing. But when Slaanesh is no longer missing, the Great Horned One will find itself out on its ear. Do you have a link for the new Stormvermin tutorial? It's not done yet. It will be edited tomorrow. I will edit it up tomorrow and I shall publish it tomorrow. So 7:30 PM tomorrow. Will be when you can find it right here on youtube.com/Warhipster. But thank you so much, guys. The fun thing I think about most of these Skaven kits is that actually a lot of it is just very transplantable. That's what I've found. So, like, painting these Stormvermin, I looked at my Clawlord tutorial and thought, how can I adapt that slightly? And I did. And created what you see before you. It's still not working for me, gifted memberships. Yeah, it's very, very strange at the moment. YouTube's having a bit of a funny one. Right. It is time to do some dry brushing. Now this is going to be interesting because I did a lot of dry brushing yesterday and I hurt my wrist. So we'll hopefully not do the same thing today. But this is going to be some Tyrant Skull. Dry brushing, was it? I knew someone was going to make that joke. You'll be able to see the product of my dry brushing very soon. It hasn't helped. I've been doing a lot of detail work today as well. Like when you just go for like quite a hardcore sort of 6-hour challenge video, and then follow it up the next day with lots of edge highlights. It's generally not good for you. And it made me laugh because I was like, maybe I really should insure my hands. Because if I couldn't paint anymore, that's it. We're done, right? Channel's over. That reminds me, I need to go for an eye test. Steady on now, chaps. Joe, one of the worst injuries I've suffered was when I was doing. I don't know if you guys remember. I did the Snot Goblin Gaming future-proof terrain, and I did all of that like in a. I think it was like a day and a half or something. But because there was so much of it, and there was so many kind of there was a lot of dry brushing and a lot of stippling motions and things going on in that, and I followed it up by priming. I was primed a lot and then primed a lot the day after. I couldn't actually unclench my hand after a while. It was silly of me, really. You just need to slow down sometimes. Did you ever have it like where you're just your little fingers just stuck like this and you can't even bend it? It's like I had lock finger or whatever. I say that. I have also broken my wrist. Twice, in fact. But it's alright, I don't do any of that foolish exercise. I was playing American football and somebody fell on this wrist, and I felt like, you know, it hurt, but like I thought I was fine, so we just continued. I just continued playing, and then the next day, because I'd continued playing, when I woke up in the morning, I was like, oh, I feel a bit bruised. I feel exhausted. And I rolled over. And when I was at university, it was in my third year. I had this attic room in our house, but the bed was right up against a wall. And I, rolled over and just kind of mashed my hand into the wall in kind of like a sort of half dreary, oh, I'm so tired, I'm going to go back to bed type thing. So I just rolled over and, like I said, mashed my hand into the wall. And I've never woken up so quickly in my life. It was awful. So I went down to A&E, I kind of, well, I didn't go straight away. I was at home and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have some paracetamol or something. That should help. That should help, and then we'll be fine. But then, like, as the day went on, I just kind of felt more and more nauseous because something clearly wasn't right. So I ended up going to the hospital, and I got there, and it was a bank holiday. And so the hospital was just full of people who'd been out drinking all day in the sun, with various kind of injuries and stuff. And there's me walking in, right, with with a sore wrist, and the nurse was very unhappy with me. She's just like, right, come on then, sit you down. And I was like, she was like, how did you do it? And I said, I think I hurt it yesterday playing American football. And she went, oh yeah. And I was like, no, genuinely, I think I hurt it yesterday. Anyway. She goes off, comes back half an hour late and goes, right, going for an x-ray. Go for an x-ray. And I sit down. And, after that point, then wait another sort of 10, 15, 20 minutes or something like that. And then the nurse the attending nurse takes me out of the waiting room into the kind of the triage area. And just goes, right, you've mashed your scaphoid. You absolutely mashed it. And I was like, oh, which scaphoid? That sounds. I said, oh, that doesn't sound so much like a bone. It sounds more like a nasty water-based disease. I was trying to be friendly, and she goes, "Well, it's a bone." So, okay, you're not in the mood. She goes, this injury is typically sustained by people who have been fighting. And I went, well, I wasn't fighting. I was playing American football yesterday. She was like, okay, it's just there's a lot of people here with broken scaphoids. I was like, I understand, but I'm completely sober. And this happened yesterday. She was like, don't trust you. Anyway, she goes, there's two things we can do. We can either put it in a podcast or we can put it in a like a splint. Podcast, you'll have to come back in like 4 weeks time or something like that. And I was like, oh no, I don't really want a podcast. What's the splint? She pulls out this thing and she puts the splint on. She goes, right, you can take this off and on, but I would recommend leaving it on unless you're going to go and like shower or whatever. I was like, okay, cool. And she was like, just wear that for 6 weeks. 6? Okay, fine. She said, don't do any strenuous activity. And I went, oh, so weightlifting's out of the out of question. And she goes, yes. It's like, okay, I realise you've had a long day and I should probably stop trying to make things jolly, right? But is what it is. Anyway, yeah, I absolutely mashed it. And the worst part is the day it came off, the splint came off. So like 6 weeks later, I was pushed down some stairs, and I broke it again. Literally the day. I was pushed down some stairs and broke the wrist again. I was devastated. So I went back and said, something's happened. Alright, okay, cool. Same thing again then. So I had to then wear it wear another. They gave me a new one at that point. I had to wear a new one for 6 more weeks. It's just the worst. Yeah, that's what I mean. So I broke my wrist twice in 12 weeks. And it's the same wrist. And for those of you who don't know, the scaphoid is a little bone right in the middle of your wrist. It's not like one of these was, you know, metacarpals, I think they are. Your tarsals are the one in your feet. Anyway, I can't remember. It's this tiny little bone that's right in the middle there, and you can break it by either punching someone or if you fall over and you put your hands out like this. It's an impact. Impact here can break a little bone that's right in there. Poiska, what's the best way to get back into painting after feeling burnt out? That is a very, very good question. Do you feel like you need... So the question you have to ask yourself is, do you feel like you need to paint again, or do you feel like you have to paint? Because if you feel like you have to paint, then you're still kind of feeling a little bit burnt out. This isn't... you're not supposed to, you know, feel like this is a mandatory use of your time. This is a hobby and it's fun, right? So really there's a question of, do you want to? Do you need to? Do you have to? I always find the best thing to do is, if I'm not feeling, you know, happy with wanting to paint or whatever, I kind of detach and do something else that might be hobby adjacent. It might not. So, you know, if you feel like you need to do something Warhammer related, a really good thing is to just kind of throw on an audiobook or read a codex or look at some art or play Space Marine 2 or something like that. Often I think burnout occurs because, you know, loss of inspiration. And when inspiration occurs, if you're really inspired to do something, burnout won't get in the way of that. You see what I mean? That's just being tired. So you need to recapture your inspiration for doing the thing. So I would recommend kind of just going and doing something that's Warhammer adjacent to kind of get you revved up to do it again. Because if you can, like, watch an episode of The Tithes or play Space Marine 2 or listen to Fear to Tread, for example, those are the types of things where you do that and you go, do you know what, this thing's actually pretty sick. I make time for it and have enjoyed it, but I find that I make up any excuse to do something else while sitting in front of my desk, like looking through the battle tome for ideas for hours instead of painting. I think that's all part of your journey, you know. That is all time well spent enjoying, you know. That is all valuable hobby time. Unvaluable hobby time is feeling like you should be doing Warhammer and, you know, kind of sitting there doom scrolling on TikTok. But if you're broadening your depth of knowledge, that's a good thing. That's only ever a good thing. You shouldn't beat yourself up for it. Inspiration hits while you are bored, I heard. Yeah, that can happen. I'll be doing a little bit of clan rat rather than then doing a space marine because it's totally different. Yeah, I mean, that's also part of it, right? Is mixing it up. I think if you... Sometimes I'm quite a visual person, right? So, like, I'm surrounded right now by unpainted models and it stresses me out. If it was stressing me out too much, though, I would clear it all off the desk. I find that can sometimes just be like, you know, let's just remove it all, right? Just remove it all from the desk and we'll put, like, one model down, like that. That's in progress, or needs to be done, or hasn't even been started yet. Or, like, a box of miniatures I haven't built yet. Sometimes, like, removal of those visual cues for me is really helpful, because when I have too much and I'm surrounded by too much, I get overwhelmed. You know, so, like, it's a tricky one. It is really tricky. But I always kind of... The other thing I kind of advocate for is that there is no such thing as a right answer when it comes to doing this hobby type things. So, like, spending time reading a battle tome is time well spent when it comes to Warhammer, because you are doing something Warhammer related, right? It doesn't mean that you're not painting, but you are enjoying, right? And that's the whole thing, is what's the thing that enjoys you in that moment? That's the thing you should do, you know? Have you ever had an issue with skunky smelling dry brushes? Both brushes and paints are brand new and I keep having that issue. That's interesting. I've not had that myself personally, but it can happen because there might be residue in the bottom of your paint pot. Give your paint pot a really thorough wash and leave it overnight. Get just like a really thorough wash. It might be that. Okay, we've done all the dry brushing. What is this? Oh. Korean traditional music. I mean, I don't dislike it. Okay. Now we need to do Tufts, and I need to remember what Tufts I use on my other Skaven. So for that, I head over to youtube.com, because all of the videos are out in all the models are out in the shed. What's the Skaven? Let's just look up. We use on the Warlock Engineer Tiny Dry Moss. Yeah, okay. We use not that, not that, not that, not that, not that. I have a lot of Tufts. We do use that. Not that. Not that. Not that. Not that. Not that. Not that. There it is. So we're definitely going to need more than what is currently on that piece of paper. There we go. Well done, guys. You got to 62 likes on the stream. That's peculiar. There we go. Sorry, the chat wasn't showing me any messages. I've got to stop getting inspired while I'm at work. Yep. So that was one of the big challenges for me, when I was balancing starting this YouTube channel and working at a couple of different jobs at one point. So I was working for a law firm in central London when I started the chat. Actually, no, I wasn't there yet when I started it. I was at my parents' house before that. It was when I always think that the channel, I launched the channel in like July 2019 or whenever it was. And I did the Neophyte hybrids and some Blood Angels, but that was it. And then I didn't do anything for ages. And then when the Mephiston video came out, I always count that as when I started, because I was like, this is when I'm actually going to make a go of doing this. I can't find my tweezers, which generally means they're on the floor somewhere. So let's yeah, so when I was working at a job and also doing the channel or launching the channel, all I would do is I would sit at the office and I would just be sat planning and thinking and dreaming of making YouTube videos, because that was where I wanted to be and what I wanted to be doing. Found them. So, yeah, it was a fun time. And then when when Alice and I moved in together here, I had a 4-month contract at a place, just to help me, basically tide over into just to tide me over into doing this full time. And so so whilst I was working that job, I was sat at this desk. So I was very distracted by all the things I had sitting around that I was like, oh, I can make a video on that. Oh, I can make a video on this. And in the end, it was Alice who said, I think you just kind of need to kind of pick one thing or the other and just do that. So I picked this. And here we are. Many years later now. Also nearly 1,000 videos. Can you believe that? Yeah, we are closing in rapidly on 1,000 videos. It's on something like 960 6 or something like that. Which, you know, if I were a betting man, I'd say we were going to go over 1,000 this year. Which is crazy. And also why I get really jealous of anyone who's like 10 million subscribers and they've got 40 videos. Like, god damn you. It's because I need to make more YouTube shorts. Have you ever been tempted to do an old world model? I did some of the Tomb Kings. And I actually have a pile of them left to do. I haven't had the time to do them. And like the thing I've been waiting for really with the old world is for the it's for the high elves. Oh, that's a dead packet. Lovely. I think you need to reward you and Alice with a holiday when you get there. Yeah, I agree. And also, hello, Laura. I hear you're not feeling very well. Short suck. Folks need to work on their attention span. Oh, don't let don't let YouTube hear you say that. I didn't say it. Chat did. YouTube, please don't ban me. I think there can be merit in short form content. You know, things like just really quick things that don't warrant a 10-minute video. Say what? Sorry, got distracted. Have you ever been? Good evening, Loud Cannon. Thank you very much for being a member for 4 months. Hello, Chris Bailey. How you doing? If you could paint Gardas and the Night Judicator again, would you do them darker because of Stormcast? I wouldn't, no. I would keep them the same. That kind of is the more traditional... Well, this has really just travelled, hasn't it? I need to figure out why it keeps doing that. I think I need to just move this cable so there's less tension on it. Maybe just pull more of the cable out. Like that sort of thing. Maybe I can... There we go. I think that's better. What Tufts are you using? I am using the Tiny Dark Moss from Gamers Grass. There it is. Tiny Dark Moss, 2mm. Just noticed somebody gifted me a channel membership. Thank you, kind stranger, says the Finnel. Yes. Thank you, kind stranger, indeed. Gifted memberships are the best. Even if they're being really wonky right now, courtesy of YouTube. Oh, chat. There's something I forgot to do. I was supposed to do it today. I was supposed to set aside thinking time for my birthday. That's dumb of me. I have to do that later. It is my birthday in 8 days' time. We're going to have a party on Wednesday. Be there or be square. Two down. 8 to go. Birthday jacuzzi stream. I'd have to rent a jacuzzi. See what Alice and I are planning to do next year is to move, and when we do manage that, I want to move to a place where it is possible to do dumb things like that. Nottingham is an excellent choice. For jacuzzi streams. I'm very excited at the prospect. Wherever we move, when we do move, my channel will basically turn, for at least like a month, my channel will probably become a bit of a home improvements show. Because obviously it's very difficult to find a place that has a built YouTube studio, for example. Especially a Warhammer painting YouTube studio. Unless, for example, you were to be like, Duncan, can I buy your house? And then he goes, yeah, sure. If indeed Duncan does film in his house, I'm not sure he does. I think he did at the beginning. He might have moved to a studio now. But it's generally unlikely. You're closer to Newark now. How is the new house? Are you guys enjoying it? Is it lovely? Is it everything you wanted it to be? Or is it getting there? You're in the getting there phase. I bet James at Siege lives in a Warhammer museum built out of blood red paint pots. Well, see, that's kind of... Right, so this is the thing, right, is I want to be able to build a studio that is, you know, obviously really cool and a really cool space to be in, but also just really a lot more functional than the one that we currently have. Like this room is really tough to live and work in, especially given as we're at like breaking capacity point in this place. So like there's just so much stuff here that it's like you can't really move in here, especially when there's a project that's ongoing. So obviously at the moment I'm in the midst of quite a few different projects, and so because I've got all of that on the go, it's tough to exist in this space like that. So one of the things I really want to do is create a space that's just really practical and really awesome, but also just opens up the opportunities to do more and different and better content with ease. So to be able to do things like talk about playing the game and actually help visualize that, talk about rules content and stuff like that. And at the moment the only way for me to do that is to sit in front of this camera and basically talk at you whilst also reading a book, but that's man reads book, and whilst that can have some place in as content, I don't think it's not really like kind of high enough quality content for me, and I feel like there's already enough people who do that. So what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to like go, oh, do you know what, here's the new, and also because I've got so many painted models, right? I want to be able to be like, hey guys, the new Disciples of Tzeentch battle tome is here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through the new battle tome, but whilst also, showing you it working, and it not being a battle report per se, but it being a, just literally like a coaching tool or a learning document for people who go. So you can see like how the strategies and the lists come together and this, that, and the other. And I want to make that sort of content, but I just don't have the space to do it. Imagine the small-time budding YouTuber near you looking for a place which already has a painting / YouTubing setup and finds your old place after you leave. Well, exactly. Maybe we'll stipulate to our landlord that he has to rent it to a Warhammer person, and I'll leave model kits all over the room for that person to discover. Guys, thank you very much for 73 likes on the stream. We are 27 away from a big 100. We're also... I'm not leaving my kit behind, Niall. I need this. So I'm looking to rent the house after you guys leave. Does it come with the cameras and the computers? No, it does not. That cost a lot of money. A lot of money that my incredibly generous community helped me raise. I've kind of already been, like, in my mind, been sort of saving for move down south, studio share with that gobby Dempsey folk. I would do that, but I feel like I would end up just being there all the time. It would feel a little bit dungeony after a while. And then that lot would roll in twice a week and be like... I'd be like, can you shut up? I'm trying to film painting tutorials over here. I don't care that you're streaming. Okay, here we go. Let's put it there. But so like one thing I think of is having like cabinet cam. So being able to be like, hey guys, I'm just gonna nip to the bathroom or I'm gonna go and get a drink. Check out cabinet cam. And cabinet cam just literally is a camera that just shows you what's in the cabinet. So this is a Baden Black. But like another kind of thing that I want to do in a new studio is soundproof it so that I can comfortably work throughout the day and kind of move away from working into the early hours of the morning, but also to be able to have space for somebody else to also work within the same space, making content and coming to work for the channel with me. So that because that's the end, you know, the dream goal, you know. One third down. Sound like an advert for my OnlyFans. Maybe it was. No, it's not. I'm gonna have to pay for it somehow. If that means I have to pose tastefully with a paintbrush and some pots of contrast paint. Today we're going to be stripping miniatures. That's very good. I mean, there's a word for what I'm doing now, you know. I'm not going to say it, but there is a word for what I'm doing now. There we go. And last one. Smashing. We did it! Well done, guys. How's that for a basing stream? My nose is very shiny today. Interesting. Yeah, there we go. 15 models, fully based. That's what we like to see. That's what we like to do. How long's that taken? An hour and 20 minutes. That's why I don't like it, because it takes forever. So like I said, these two videos will be out this week, tomorrow and Friday. So Stormvermin tomorrow, because that's what you guys have asked for. Globadiers on Friday. And then once you've done the rims of the bases, I always find it's just a good job to just move them. Because otherwise they obviously stick to the tissue paper. And that puts us on, what, 40, 55, 61, 62, 63, 64, 70 Skaven models painted? What colour should the rim be, Warhipster? Well, according to the internet, it should be a darker version of the primary colour on your model. So in this case, it should be corn red, shaded with black. Given up on clan rats, doing Astorath trim. Yeah, Astorath has almost a Chaos Space Marines level of trim. He's not a particularly he's not particularly loyalist set of armor. It's not quite as bad as Guilliman. Guilliman's got more trim than Chaos Space Marine. I need to get some WD-40 for this chair because it keeps squeaking. There we go. I'll just lean back a little bit. Twizzle the camera a little bit. So, how you doing? We can just talk now for half an hour. I don't really want to build. I've done one thing I don't like doing. Don't make me do another. You're painting Liberators. I love it. I like it. Liberators are cool. They're very cool. I like Liberators. Looking at your pile of shame. Pile of potential. Of opportunity. Just added production value, sound effects for the squeak. I know, but it's like, look, if I'm back here, it's fine. But as soon as I come up, hear that? There. It's as I come forward, but only if I go past a certain point. There you go. Rubbish. About to grill steaks for my mum's birthday. Oh, happy birthday to your mum, Philip. Hello, Lewis Evans. How you doing? All I hear are Skaven. All I see are Skaven right now. Stormvermin and Globadiers, to be precise. Well, and Doomflayers. I've got them right here. And the Warp Spark weapon battery. And the Warp Grinder. They're yet to do. So there's 3 more Skaven videos I haven't yet done. But I ran out of time. Sure, it's the chair and not your back. I mean, it could be. It could be my back. It could be my knees. I really hurt my knees almost every day. I need to get a little. I need to get a little under the table bike. So I can just keep my legs pedaling like this. But I don't really have room. The computer's under here now. I should weigh my pile of shame. I think if it's too heavy to survive it being stacked on top of me, it's probably too much. I thought that about... So, when we move... when we move, we're going to have to move all of the books. And, like, I dropped one of my boxes of books once on my foot, and I thought I'd going to break every single toe in my foot. They're so heavy. I was like, I'm just gonna leave that. And then so when the removal men came, I was like, be careful with that one. It's really heavy. And he went, no, it can't be that heavy. And really went to pick it up, just like, oh. And it was like one of those things where somebody had just committed, so he had to then carry it by himself. It was so funny. When will Project Spearhead return? Possibly towards the end of October. Possibly. Like I said, I'm tapped out until like the 22nd or something like that. At the moment. I can't remember now. Basically all my time is allotted until mid to late October. For models and videos to paint and edit. Loads of stuff. Moving boxes of books sucks. Use many small boxes. Yeah, so this is what my dad said, is what you do is you just put 1 or 2 books in every single box. Makes it much easier. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Rather than doing what I always do, put it all in one. Have fun. You are so much like my friends. You should come and be friends with my group in Croydon. Do you know I lived in Croydon? I lived in Croydon for a year. I enjoyed it. It was a lovely little flat I had there. Has Liam finally dropped you the details for his AOS Spearhead Weekender? He hasn't, no. Drop me them now, Demogorgon. What was the date again? It was the 26th and 27th, wasn't it, of October? '26th, yeah. Yeah. I will do my darndest to be there. I'm actually going to be in that area of the world that week. Maybe we just have that entire week off. But then it does... Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'll figure it out, don't worry. Where in Croydon? Did you go Black Sheep Bar or Bad Apple? So I lived... let me see if I can remember where it was. It was... yeah, so it was... Epsom Road. So, yeah, right near. I mean, I lived at the top of Epsom Road as well, kind of between the junction between Whaddon Road and Epsom Road. So, I was right opposite Wandle Park, basically. Was where I lived, because I was at that time. I was working in central London. You know it well. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, so that was where I lived. So I was working in God, where was it now? Liverpool Street / Canary Wharf. Splitting my time there equally, and then also back home as well. Because Alice still lived in Bristol, so I was back in Bristol most weekends. And then the pandemic happened, and I was locked in that flat by myself for many moons. But yeah, that's where I used to live. I lived there for a year. 2018 to 2019. I lived in Croydon for a year. Before Croydon, I lived in Cheltenham for a year. I was much more central. I was in a place called Honeybourne Way then, which was literally in the car park of Waitrose. It was lovely. It's the best thing ever. So I lived there. Before that, I was in Leamington Spa and splitting my time between Leamington Spa and Tooting Broadway. Tooting Beck, because I was working at Michael Page, and before that, before Leamington Spa, I lived in London for 6 years. I lived in Streatham. Did we just become best friends? Did you at least have models to paint in that flat? I had many models to paint in that flat. Do you know what? One of the things about that flat was, in that flat I really kind of honed my craft. So I was painting things like Blackstone Fortress and stuff like that, and all of the Space Marine heroes that came out, and I had them all done. The only one I was waiting for was Ragnar Blackmane. I was very excited for it, and then the pandemic happened, and when the pandemic happened, Ragnar Blackmane got delayed. Do you remember Prophecy of the Wolf? It went on pre-order, and I was like, buy immediately. I want it, because Gazcol as well was in that box. And and then the pandemic happened, and it all got delayed. So I couldn't get it. Some people got theirs. I didn't get mine. And I didn't get it then for another 3 or 4 months. It was devastating. I couldn't finish the set. Because I had all of the characters. I wanted the full set. I still got them. They're all here. Here they are. So there's Torgaradon. There's Ragnar. There's Corsaro. There's what's his chops. Phyros. Mephiston's in here. Lazarus is in here. Tigurius is in here. Calgar's in here. Shrike, he's in here. Adrax, Agatone, he's in there as well. Oh, this bloody chair. This is the problem with, as you get older, when you want things for your birthday and people say, what do you want? And you go, I want a new chair. They're all very expensive though, our chairs. I also want a I don't know if you guys know it. I'm tossing my options up right now. There's 2 different microphones. Because some of you have said that this one becomes a bit quiet at times. And so there's 2 different microphones I've been looking at. One is a Rode NT1. And I have a Rode NT1A, which you can't see. It's over there. You might be able to see it if I tilt the camera a little bit. There it is. See that one? So I have a Rode NT1A, but that's the microphone for doing the voiceovers in my video work, so I can't remove that one and put it over here. So I've been looking at a Rode NT1 or the one that everyone buys, which is the Shure SM75B or whatever it's called. Hey Alec, man, it's going very well, thank you. I've done a lot of basing. I've done all of the basing on the Stormvermin and the Globadiers. That's what we did today. It's very productive. But the problem with all of those is they're very expensive. Are you a full-time content creator? How do you make money? Just interested. I am a full-time content creator. The way I make money is via YouTube ad revenue, memberships, super chats, and Patreon subscribers. And occasionally, if somebody wants to pay me for a sponsor spot. But they don't happen very often. Mostly because I turn down most of them, because they're not appropriate. But here we are. That's what we did. So, I make all of my moolah from YouTube and Patreon. The majority of it is from YouTube. I'm in your Discord. What else can I do to support? If you're already a Patreon subscriber or a member, then you are already doing an enormous amount. So thank you, Lewis. I really appreciate that. Do you ever sell your painted armies? So this is going to be something that I'm going to look at in the new year when we move. I will be looking for do some sort of fire sale / auction / all that type of thing. Because right now I just don't have the headspace to deal with it, right? But so like when we move, it's a case of, well, what do you want to take with you? What do you want to keep? And if there's stuff that I don't want to keep, then we will get rid of it somehow. They look gorgeous, by the way. Thank you, Demogorgon. Yeah, it'll be a case of cutting down the collection at a certain point. I am somewhat loath to part with lots of models, though, because I really love all of my models. I love them so much. Is it tougher than you thought? Would you go back to a regular job? To be honest, no. I think the expectation I had was that it was going to be really hard, and it is. But I would never go back. If I had to, then I would. But at this point, I've been away from the job that I was doing for so long. I don't think I could get L&D work again. I'd have to go. I would probably have to apply for like social media jobs and be like, "Hey, I grew a YouTube channel painting Warhammer. That's my qualification." I might need to do that as well. Have I ever shared with you my fully itemized backlog of models yet? You haven't, Alec man, but I'm sure it's enormous. I would share mine, but it's not. It's incomplete. I can't get to a cupboard that I need to be able to do it because there's too many boxes of models in the way. Do you ever paint using normal paints as opposed to contrast? Yeah, I do it all the time. Every video. Whenever I use metallics. Yeah, I know it, man. It's outrageous, the amount of models. So there is a large cupboard at the other end of this room, over there, that I can't get to because there's boxes in the way of it. And those boxes are full of models. So I need to move them out of the way in order to look in that cupboard to fully itemize the list. But to do that, I have to clear out this end of the room, which is also full of boxes of models. And the cycle is ever sustained. Can you sustain a living, and can you earn the same as a normal job? Yeah, certainly. I mean, the potential with something like a YouTube channel is, theoretically you have limitless potential in terms of the revenue, right? By the time you start getting to certain levels of views and size of channel, you can live very, very well. Is my YouTube channel as profitable as the career that I had before I started the YouTube channel? Absolutely not. Nowhere near. Not even close. It was when I made the step. In fact, when I made the step to doing this full time, the decision then was basically let's just choose chaos. So I went from earning a very comfortable salary to earning less than minimum wage for double the amount of work from YouTube. Basically, that's changed as time has gone on. I'm still not at the same level I was when I left my job. But it's entirely more rewarding than making e-learning about health and safety and data protection and manual handling and GDPR and Part 36 offers and changes in housing legislature and apprenticeship documents and how to troubleshoot your LG TV, that kind of thing. I enjoyed that job for a long time, but it wasn't what I wanted it to be. So to clarify for a lot of people who may not understand what the hell I'm talking about, I used to work in L&D, otherwise known as training. I did it for a number of different companies, and essentially what my job was is I was a digital designer / facilitator of training. So if ever you've gone to a new job and you've had to sit down and do your module, do some online modules as your part of your training, so data protection, health and safety, manual handling, that kind of thing, health and safety. If you've ever had to go and click through one of those really boring modules where you then have to answer a quiz at the end, that was the kind of thing I was being asked to make. I've always advocated that is terrible training and no one actually knows any of it, and what they do is they just click the next button until they get to the quiz and then they guess their way through it, and they always pass because the questions are designed in such a way that actually anyone can pass it. because it's things like, you know, with data protection, it's like, you receive an email from somebody you don't recognize. There's a suspicious link attached. What should you do? Click to check the link. 2. Email the person back asking for clarification on what the link contains. Or C. Delete the email and notify your manager. And it's like, oh, I don't know, click it. Right? So that is what I used to do. That is the kind of thing I used to be forced to make. And I always used to say, you know, this isn't how people learn. This is terrible. We need to revolutionize it. We need to move into different types of digital learning. And everyone always said, no, shut up and do your job. And then the pandemic happened, ladies and gentlemen. And suddenly they all wanted to have really good online training, except nobody wanted to pay for it. In the event of a fire, do you A, run into the fire, B, piss on the fire, C, get the hell out of there and call 999? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's that type of thing, right? And like, that is the type of, this is what I mean, is I was, you would always go, right, so what do we need to do? We need to do some compliance modules for our new starters and our existing staff. And you go, okay, cool. What's this one going to be about? Oh, it's going to be about data protection. Oh, this one's going to be about fire prevention. Okay, cool. You know, or hazard perception or something like that. Or just, you know, health and safety. But my favorite one was, I did this module and it was at Sky, and it's because I was asked to do a health and safety module for the home visit team, the ones who at Sky turn up and mount your satellite dish and this, that, and the other. And the whole thing it was a health and safety thing, and it was supposed to be point out the health and safety risks in this picture. And I did what I thought was a really good one, in that it was this picture that was full of really subtle hazards that were very difficult to spot, which actually, you know, you had to apply your brain and think in order to do it. And I sent it off and they went, it's too hard, people won't pass this. And I was like, well, what do you want me to do? Make it more obvious? And they're like, yeah, make it more obvious. So the only thing I changed was I just put a leopard in. I literally just put a leopard in the picture. Just badly photoshopped a leopard in. Sent it back and they went, it's perfect now. I was like, why? Why is that perfect? It's like, well, because people can spot the leopard. It's like, of course they can spot the leopard. There's a bloody great leopard in the middle of the picture. So from that day forth, it's just like, as soon as somebody would ask you for something, you would be like, oh, we need to do, we have to do this thing. And you go, okay, cool. I'll just make the most bass thing that I can possibly make and send it off and you'll be happy with it. And I won't be, but, you know, it is what it is. Or D, ask the fire to stop. Yeah. How do we get you to 100,000 subscribers? You tell your friends and family and co-workers and people on the street, hey, go and subscribe to youtube.com/Warhipster. What should I post my list to? Just pop it in any of the channels in Discord. You could put it in show off your stuff. That one would work, because you are showing off your stuff. If I could find any of the odd, so one of the best jobs I had, it was also, in the end it was one of the worst, but one of the best jobs I had was when I worked at Sky, and I worked at Now TV, and I loved working with the people I was in that team with, my friends Stephen and Rob and all that kind of thing. I loved working with them. They were great guys, and we all had the very similar sense of humor. So eventually they were like, we need lots of videos for our learning management system, and we were like, yeah, okay, cool. And we were kind of given free reign to do whatever we wanted, so we made some proper weird stuff, including, like, they were like, oh, we need like a weekly update of all the changes that have happened to the platform that people should be on the lookout for, as well as a preview of all, like, the, you know, training stuff that we're posting this week. And we were like, yeah, okay, cool, we'll do a video of that. And it turned into this thing where there was just like running storylines between over many episodes, and it was just like, you know, it's just a weekly update, which most businesses will put one out where they'll be like, this week we'll be making some changes to how the app is delivered on the new Apple TV. And ours was just be like, there's some stuff that's happening in the Apple TV place. Oh, but by the way, there's ghosts, and then there would just be ghosts. In the video, it would just it was very very funny. Working on those videos, it was just silly and stupid and wonderful. And I believe to this day they still use some of those videos. Every so often, someone will shoot me a friend request or a message or something on Facebook being like, "You're the guy from the training videos." I'm like, how are they still using those? We made those in 2016. They should all be out of date by now, but unless they haven't changed their billing systems, you know. I know, but an 8-year-old training video shouldn't be is not relevant in tech. Put it this way: it's the equivalent of still training people on how to use Windows XP. Like, so there's videos on that. There will be videos on there that will be teaching you how to troubleshoot an app that no longer is delivered by the business. Also, their billing systems should not be the same as they were 8 years ago. Exactly, but every so often I just get a message. So I've just watched a lot of videos with your face in it. Oh, did you follow my YouTube channel? No, I work at Sky. Oh, I am so sorry. You'd be surprised. The Navy uses systems that have been out of date without support on a lot of their ships. Some include Windows XP and older. Oh yeah, no. So yeah, I know that some kind of government and military infrastructure is still run on older systems, even as far back as Windows 98. There is still some stuff that is still used by systems like that, which is why you can still buy that sort of thing. Which is insane. But when it's a Netflix competitor, it's just very funny. But yeah, I mean, when I look back on it, I realize that it was at that time in my career when I was like, yeah, I probably should have. At that point is when I should have started making YouTube videos. Is when I should have done it. But like, I used to think about doing like Warhammer videos, but at the time I didn't think that anybody would watch them because I didn't realize people were consuming content on YouTube. And if I'd started my channel 8 years ago, we'd probably be sat here with 100,000 subscribers at least, rather than 69,000, which is an enormous number, truly enormous. What was that? 45, 945. We're 30,945 away from 100,000. I really want my silver play button. I'd love to get it next year. I would love to get it next year. That would be amazing. I think when I subscribed, you were at 35k. You've been around a long time then, Lewis. We grow very steadily around here. Very steadily, very slowly. And the reason we do that is because we don't make clickbait videos. And I could do it. I could make clickbait videos, but that would go against the principles of the channel. I want to grow naturally by making how to paint videos. So I often get like emails and whatnot from consultants who say, "Oh, I've got a bunch of things I could do to help you improve your channel growth." Every time you talk to them, they're like, "Well, what we would do is we'd look at what other people are saying in your space, and we would make videos around that as well." I'm like, "Yep, no, I don't want to do that, because if you did that, we would make videos about how Warhammer's gone woke." which I don't want to do. It's not the point of the channel. It's how to paint videos. It's what we do. Why does Juan Hidalgo have a lot more clickbait? Well, and also Juan paints very aspirational things, right? So like every single one of his videos, it's like, wow, when he makes something. Whereas mine is like, you will find my channel when you want to paint Skaven. That's how people discover it. You know? So, and that's the kind of person that I want to subscribe to the channel, because they end up going, oh, these new Skaven have come out. I want to see how to paint them, and they will look up how to paint Skaven, and there I will be, and that's what brings them in. And if they like the video and it works for them, they stick around. Rather than me saying, bin these 5 hobby products, they're terrible, and then it's just a 25-minute video of me telling you that Citadel paints are terrible, which they're not, because I don't believe that. I love them, but that's what I mean. That brings in a bunch of people who are kind of looking to have their opinions affirmed, and as soon as you stray away from that, your engagement goes down. So you just create a rod for your back, right? If you make content where you clickbait, you have to keep clickbaiting. As soon as you make that choice, you are stuck in that world forever. And I don't want to be stuck in that world forever. Elliot man, thank you very much for the $10. I hope you enjoy the list. I wouldn't expect you to read it all live, but I hope you like it, because no matter how good the rewards program at my local gaming store was/is, that doesn't mean I don't have a problem. Have you shared it, have you? Let's have a look. Ledger of Self-Loathing. That is an excellent title. Let's see how many... Wow, you got a lot of stuff. You have a lot of stuff. Is this all painted? Or is this all unpainted? Oh, I see. Melisai Blood Sister test model fully painted, not based. Okay, you've gone through and you've annotated it. You have a lot of stuff, man. Oh, you've even done primed, not painted. Built, not primed. Yeah, that's kind of how I organize things. My thing is, I do owned, built, primed, finished. That's my series of that's my series of annotations. Two away from 100 likes. We are 2 likes away from 100 likes on the stream. Incredible. Unbelievable scenes. We have 101 likes on the stream. Legendary. Absolutely legendary. Well done, guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, it's a good stream. I've enjoyed tonight's stream. It's nice to do a bit of hobby again with all of you guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. As we continue the long journey to 600 models in a year. Next year I'm not going to do 600 again. It's been a lot of models. It's a lot of models. Stepping away to walk my dog, but if I miss you, have a great night and talk to you next time. Love you all. Love you too, Colonel. Have a nice walk with the dog. And to your dog, have a great walk with your Colonel. Oh dear. He's a funny guy. Do 420 models next year. I think by the sheer nature of my job, you kind of just average at about 500 in a year anyway. I'm pretty certain that's what we've done. Let me look it up. Model completion. I have notes. Model completion 2023. So in last year I managed 501 models last year. In 2022 547. I don't think I did it in 2021. Painted minis list I did. 506. So 200. So since 2021, did I do it for 2020? I don't think I did. Pretty certain I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. So yeah, since January 2021, we painted 5. No, hang on. What was it? 2021 painted minis list. So in 2021 we did 506 minis. Plus 2022 we did 506, 1053. Uh, 1,554. So we'll be on 2,000 models by the end of the year, for sure. AOS Spearhead weekend, you can smash out another 20-ish models easily. Yeah, I mean, we could try. Do you need to clean your glasses? Probably. Yes, I do. Quick question on blue contrast paints. Best one for ultramarines, please. I've got a couple of videos on how to paint ultramarines. I think the best way to paint them is to do Talisar blue followed by ultramarines blue. But there should be on the channel how to paint ultramarines, how to paint ultramarines Horus Heresy, how to paint what's his name? Captain Thingy-Bob. Thingamawobsy. Uriel Ventress. And also how to paint the Ultramarines Company heroes. And the Company heroes, actually. I did them as Ultramarines. I forgot about them because I gave them to someone for a birthday present. Ultramarines Company heroes. These ones. Ultramarines comes out patchy for me. Yeah, so that's why you do the pre-shade first. Because Ultramarines is a bit of a patchy paint. You do the... If you follow that video does... It might be Assaman Blue in that one. Let's have a look, shall we? Yeah, Assaman Blue. So this one starts by painting Assaman Blue all over, which is a much nicer paint than Ultramarines Blue. Once you get the Assaman Blue all over, You then use a 1-to-1 mix of contrast medium and ultramarines blue, which makes the ultramarines blue much easier to work with, because it becomes less patchy as you apply it. And you apply that all over the top, and that gets you that lovely ultramarines blue colour, which is basically Macragge blue, because ultramarines blue on its own doesn't give you Macragge blue. Basically. I forgot I did these. That was a fun video to make. They're a fun unit of Space Marines. Terrible on the tabletop. I'm trying to incorporate my hobby and my school's new art class together. I picked a project to make a piece of art in a monochromatic colour scheme, so I'm going to paint a Free Guild steel helm in all browns. That sounds interesting. What are your top 3 Skaven models from the new kits? Well, Vizix Scour, obviously. I think my top 3 are Vizix Scour, Kritok Foulblade, and the Brood Terror. I just like all of them. I think they're fabulous. From Skaventide, I liked all of it, apart from the Clan Rats. But that was because I spent many days painting 40 of them. So I'm never going to like them that much. But yeah. I think they've done an exceptional job on the Skaven releases. And, you know, there will probably be more, maybe by the end of the year, but probably next edition. I get confused between Lahmian medium and contrast medium. When do I know what to use? Essentially, the difference between the two is Lahmian medium basically acts like a flow improver for contrast paints. So it reduces the contrast effect, but it makes it much easier to work with when you use Lahmian medium, because it makes it feel more familiar as a liquid, basically. Contrast medium dilutes the color, but still retains its contrasting properties. So it'll still do the same thing. So essentially, the time to use it is use Lahmian medium if you want to improve the flow, / do blending work and this, that, and the other. And contrast medium if you want to create a different colour. So you can use either or, really, at any time. But basically, contrast medium will dilute the colour and therefore give you a different tone. And Lahmian medium will act more like a flow improver and make it easier to work with. And if you use more Lahmian medium than you do contrast paint, it starts to dilute the paint as well, of course. But if you do what I do sometimes, where you take like 4 parts of paint and add 1, maybe 2 droplets of Lahmian medium, you basically just get a really easy to work with, high saturated, very thinned down acrylic paint, basically. It's not, but, you know, it's sort of right, is what I'm saying there. Can you use the skin recipe from the Clan Rats vids on the Stormvermin? Yeah, absolutely you can. And you can use the one from the Rat Ogres. You can use that on Stormvermin, 100%. Is there any benefit to using shade brushes for shades? I see you always use layer. The reason I don't use shade brushes is because shade brushes are designed to hold lots of paint in the belly of the bristles. And it can quickly get away from you, so you can end up with too much paint on the brush. And basically what happens when your brush is overloaded, as soon as you make contact with the model, all of it just rushes right out. So what you'll find is if you've got too much paint on your brush and you go to paint, suddenly it'll just kind of splodge all onto the model all over the place and it'll run out of control. So the reason I use small layers and medium layer brushes is because those brushes are much tighter and they're not designed to hold loads of paint inside the belly of the brush. It kind of sticks more to around the outside of the brush, which makes it so that you're applying what you can see, whereas if you use a shade brush, they're much more absorbent, so you don't always know how much paint you have on that brush. So when you start using something like that, like I said, it all just rushes out of the brush onto the model, and you can quickly lose control of the paint. Do you think the recipe for those red armors you've done recently for the Skaven would translate well to Blood Knights? I think it absolutely would, yes. The red for the Stormvermin armor would be what I would do the armor of the Blood Knights, and then that darker red they have on like the horses, for example, would be exactly what I would do, that you can see like on the dark red that I've done on the Skaven as well. So like on the Clawlord on Norbeast, for example, his robe, or Kritok Foulblade's trousers, or his banners, for example. That's absolutely how I would paint the Blood Knights now. If you prime a model white, how do you fix mistakes with grey sear / black? I typically can just use those base paints to colour over mistakes, but Corax white doesn't seem appropriate. Yeah, I mean, it is quite difficult. Using White Scar to cover over the mistake is generally the best thing to do when you use the White Scar primer. It's why I don't tend to use it as much as I use Grey Seer or Wraithbone, because you have to be a little bit more precise with White Scar primer. Because they didn't basically. What was surprising to me was when they brought White Scar primer out, they didn't re-release White Scar layer paint as a base paint with a much higher pigment. I mean, like basically just reformulate it to be better. Because Grey Seer and Wraithbone both have a pot equivalent, which is color matched, so they're just better primers in my opinion. Unfortunately, yeah, White Scar is the paint you do have to use to correct mistakes on White Scar primer, because it is color matched. But yeah, what is your favorite non-Games Workshop game and models? I really like the bolt action stuff. I've not played it, but I really like the models, and I do also really like the models for Marvel Crisis Protocol. Use your Corax white base paint. They used to have Corax white as a spray, but they don't. I don't know if they still do it. I don't think they do. Anyway, guys, it is 25 to 11, which means it is time to end. We've run 6 minutes over what we would normally do. But thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you so much. I know you secretly love Shatterpoint. I want to love Shatterpoint. I want to find the time to do it. But I keep looking at it and I keep going, not now. I'm not inspired by it. Massive thank you to everybody who gifted a membership, who became a member, who's been a member for many months, for the super chats. You guys are legends. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. We will be back tomorrow with a painting video. Stormvermin, you already know this. And then Globadiers on Friday. But for now, it is time for me to raise the hand of farewell to all of you and to wave at the best audience in the world. I really appreciate you and everything you do for me and for the channel and for everybody else who is yet to discover the channel. It's because of you. Because you keep the lights on around here. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you all very soon in the next one. Legends, every single one of you. Bye for now. Love you, bye.